Hey guys, insight number 2 here. So we're in chapter 2 mostly, but there is one verse I want to read in chapter 1, and it's verse 20. And it says, "Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Hath not God made foolish the wisdom of this world?" And it goes on to talk about like the wisdom of God and how that plays into our lives. More importantly, in chapter 2, he really gets deeper into it. But to accomplish God's work, we need his wisdom. And why do you think that is? Why do we need God's wisdom if we're to accomplish his work? Well, for one, he kind of designed the work, so we need to know what he's after. But why do we need his depth of wisdom? Because we're never going to have that fully for ourselves in this life. That's something that's going to come later. But let's have a look here. So it's good. It's encouraged to seek wisdom wherever we can find it, and we can find references for this. This is from the Come Follow Me manual. If you have a look, 2 Nephi 9:29, Doctrine and Covenants 88 118, which the Doctrine and Covenant ones talks about learning from the best books, and that is totally great. Go do that, but take from that the good. And sometimes there's things in there that we don't need, so leave that behind, but still do that. But Paul was talking about like flawed human wisdom, and he calls it the wisdom of this world, which as I just read in verse 20. But what do you think that might mean? And he goes on in chapter 2 to talk about things, and he says, like, I didn't come here with excellency of speech. Remember, these are really well-educated people. These are philosophers and theologians, and he just comes in as this, like, and he's really smart, but, like, not even their level smart. These are guys that we know today as just being, like, thought of things that we would never come up with. Philosophers, just great things. So he says, look, I didn't come in here with excellency of speech or wisdom, but I came unto you declaring the testimony of God. This is in verse 1. And then in 3 he says, and I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling, and my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power. So he's saying, like, when I came in and taught you, it wasn't all the wisdom I have. And it's the same thing I endeavor to do here. It's not about all the wisdom I have, because I got tons of wisdom on stuff that you don't really need to hear. And I have lots of useless information that comes up occasionally and is good and handy, but generally, no, like I like it, but people don't need to hear it. But what they do need to hear is what I'm inspired to speak, and that's what I endeavor to do here, as I said. So when I'm talking, I don't actually have a lot of notes, and sometimes I go off book from the notes because I just speak what comes to me, and I don't re-record. So if it comes out, then it was meant to come out. I just go with that. But that, yeah, he's saying there that, look, what I came to teach you came from the power of God, the Spirit, through the Spirit. That's what I'm teaching you. And verse 3 says, verse 4, we did that. Okay, so verse 5, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. So, like, don't just have wisdom of men. You've got to have the both to really decipher the things of not just this world, but of greater than this world, and to see the bigger picture. So, yes, be educated, but also be Spirit-led is the big thing there. And then in 6, howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. And in 7, but we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory. And he's saying, like, look, if you don't have the Spirit, you're not going to hear the wisdom in this. You're just going to hear it and go, oh, that's nice. Or, oh, that's not for me. But not feel it. So that applies to us too. We still do that, you know. Sometimes we're not ready to hear that. Sometimes we'll go back over a conference talk from years ago that somebody's recommended, or that we've seen and gone, wow, I remember that talk the first time, but this time it really hit me, because we're in that place to hear it. This way we don't just stand, like, you know, he says there, howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect. And if you look at the footnote, 6a, it talks about perfection. So, yeah, they might be, it's a perfect knowledge, and yes, they might be working towards perfection. And the message from God is perfect, but the wisdom of the world doesn't always fit with it, because the wisdom of the world is lacking and short of, like, that bigger picture. Verse 9, I love, it just says, but it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. And that's just a hint of a promise of things to come. And I'm just like, wow, because, the world's wisdom, we cannot comprehend. I'm sitting here in this beauty today, and it is quiet, and there is, because it's mostly like beach houses, and at this time of year, and nobody ain't coming to the beach, still pretty cold. And some of this place would be humming, but right now it's super quiet. I have not seen another human. I'm sure there's some around. I've seen plenty of birds, I've seen a cat, but like even this is fantastically beautiful. I could just try and show you for a minute here. I don't know if you can see out over there. There is our ocean out there. There is waves crashing. It is so beautiful. And yet, it's still going to be better than that for what God has prepared for us. And I'm looking at this going, well, this is pretty nice. And it was pretty comfy here, and it's quite lovely. I'd be quite happy being here for a very long time. And yet what He's got for us is better. So I love that too. So yeah. Let's just look at those things. So what do you think Paul meant by wisdom of God? Like that we need that. And why do we need that? Because human wisdom's flawed, it's lacking, and God's wisdom fills in those blank spaces that we have. It completes the picture, completing what we need. And as I said there, verse 9 has that hint of promises, and just that, be Spirit-led, learn from the best books, but know that you're going to need God's wisdom as well to be Spirit-led to what is the complete picture. So yeah, I hope you get something from that. It's actually a really good chapter, is chapter 2. There's some beautiful words in there. And the beginning verses, he's talking about, when I talk about the excellency of speech, that's, if you're going to come in the name of Christ and speak Christ, you're speaking with power. And that's kind of cool, because I'm like, I do that, and I don't think of myself as speaking with power, and yet the Spirit conveys what I'm testifying of, and that is speaking with power. So even through a camera, not even face to face, isn't that cool? And how much we can learn from that, from different people, not just me, from lots of different people, right? Pretty awesome. Okay, hang around, I'll see you for the next one.